Welcome to the Elle Bee Show. I'm your host, Elle Bee. So, most of the things that you're about to hear are my opinion. But guess what? We sprinkled in some facts because we're what? Educated bees over here in this hive. Don't forget to check out the website for our resources so you can do some additional research on your own. Now, prepare to be stunned, but the solve is not included. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back this week. So in continuation with our colorism in music, we're going to shift gears a little bit here. We're going to do a comparison of two artists that are known and beloved in our community, Alicia Keys and India.Arie. Now, these two artists both came out in 2001. So same year. So we're doing a fair comparison here. Now this comparison, I picked these two artists to do a comparison for a couple of different reasons, which I will explain. So the first thing is Alicia Keys, we all know, is a great pianist, which means she plays the piano, for those that don't know. If you don't know, I don't know how, because it's in her name, Keys, duh, hello. She plays the piano. She's classically trained, which means she studied classical music, all of that other kind of stuff, which she plays in her intro to her first album, which is called Songs in A Minor. Now, India.Arie, on the other hand, plays the guitar. Her first album is called Acoustic Soul. So she plays the acoustic guitar. Acoustic soul. Follow me. India.Arie is a very chocolate girl, which we love. When she first came out, she had locks. She was considered a naturalista. She was categorized as neo-soul. Alicia Keys, on the other hand, was categorized as R&B and pop at the same time. Now, during 2001, there was a neo-soul movement that was happening when you had artists like Erykah Badu, who came out with Baduizm in 1997, Musiq Soulchild, D'Angelo, Jill Scott, who came out in 2000. The list goes on and on and on. And that's the category that India.Arie was put in. Now, both of these women are extremely talented songwriters, and they are both extremely talented in their instruments that they play. However, the sound is extremely different. When you listen to Alicia Keys, Songs in A Minor, which, you know, we talk about this, or with the recent beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and Kendrick dropped that line, Songs in A Minor, which means that there are no black keys being played on the piano, okay? Okay, so Songs in A Minor is the title of Alicia Keys' first album. That is the key that she sings in. It's not the greatest, okay? India.Arie, on the other hand, she has that tonality in her voice, which gives you a heavier, richer, fuller sound, period. Now, Alicia Keys is biracial. Her mother is white. Her father is black. India.Arie, both of her parents are black. Her father played in the NBA for several years in the 70s. So there's that. Now, when you look at the two, it's like super light, very dark. So here's where colorism comes into play. It's not only colorism, it's also who is backing these artists, the promotion, the airplay, the marketing, all of those things. So Alicia Keys was backed by the notorious Clive Davis, who is responsible for the careers of Whitney Houston, helping Aretha Franklin reestablish her career, you know, those types of caliber of artists. That's who backed Alicia Keys. India.Arie, on the other hand, was backed by Kadar Messenberg. If you don't know who Kadar Messenberg is, I suggest that you go to Google, but I'm going to give you just a few things. He is known for helping to influence the neo-soul movement. So he was very influential in that era, in that time. He also worked with other artists like 702. 702 from Vegas, after the area code, R&B group, all of that stuff, Music Soul Child, things like that, or people like that. Great. Now, when you look at songs in A minor versus acoustic soul, songs in A minor has 16 tracks. Acoustic soul has 16 tracks. 16. The 16th track is the bonus track, which was wonderful, which is India.Arie's dedication to Stevie Wonder, who is her idol, her role model, who later took her under his wing, and they toured together, and it was great. Okay, so you know where I'm about to go with this. So let's just continue to dive right in. Now, when you are of the mixed persuasion, i.e. you have parents of different races, like Alicia Keys does, and you come out looking like a super light bright that is close to white, because she kind of could pass on, any level for being a white lady, even though she's not. You get more clout, more doors open for you, more people that will be like, oh, let me listen to her music. And I don't know if you know if they do this in your town, but in my town there's a radio station where they do play black music. It's predominantly white though, but they take the bass out of the songs, so the artists sound white, even the black ones. They take the bass out. I don't know how they do that or why they do it, but they do it, unfortunately. And sometimes I'll just be like, that's not how that song sounds on the record, but that is what they do. Alicia Keys didn't have to do that, because that's how she sounds as it is. She just does. Now, the songs, the comparison of the two albums, like Alicia Keys has two songs that were remakes. One is a Prince song, How Come You Don't Call Me, and then the other one is an interlude that is by an artist who is getting dogged in the media, so I'm not going to mention his name. But it's an interlude that she did not write. However, on India.Arie's album, she wrote or co-wrote every song on her album. So all the music is hers originally. She produced a lot of the stuff. So those are her thoughts, her feelings, her emotions. Great. But she got pigeonholed into this neo-soul thing. Now her album is considered to be just straight R&B, which is what it always was. And it's just like, why do we think that just because you are darker skinned, you have locks, you go natural, whatever the case may be, that you're only good for a black audience? What's up with that? I mean, seriously. Like, I listened to these two albums recently just to refamiliarize myself with them, because I'm a music head. I love music in general, all types of music, not just those that are done by black artists. So check yourself on that one, okay? And I barely got through songs in A minor. Like, I could barely get through it, because I was like, girl, what? It was like not speaking to me as a person. But Acoustic Soul has lasted. It came out in 2001. That was several years ago. So, when you look at these two artists, and you look at who backed these two artists, Clive Davis being the musical savant genius that he is, he knows talent when he sees it, which is great, because, it's Clive freaking Davis. You know what I'm saying? He's a genius when it comes to music. But this one, for me, didn't hit the mark. So let's just give a little further breakdown of the comparison of these two albums. Now, Alicia Keys and India.Arie were both nominated for several Grammys for their debut albums, which is great. Alicia Keys was nominated 6 times. She won 5 awards. She won Best New Artist, Song of the Year, R&B Female Vocal Performance of the Year, Best R&B Song, and Best R&B Album. Was it the best album though? No, it was not. India.Arie was nominated for Album of the Year, Best R&B Album, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Female R&B Vocal Performance, Best R&B Song, and Best New Artist. They were nominated for a lot of the same things. The only award that Alicia Keys was nominated for that she did not win was Record of the Year, which went to U2 for the song Walk On. Now, I'm not familiar with that song at the current moment. I would have to go back and listen to it. But I like U2. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with them. But listening to these albums all this time later, there's no comparison. India.Arie album was far superior than Alicia Keys' album. It just was. And part of the reason why I feel like Alicia Keys was able to have the success that she was able to have is because, 1, she was backed by Clive Davis, and 2, she looks white. She looks like a white lady doing R&B. She does. I'm not taking away from her talent, because I think she's an extremely talented person when it comes to lyrics and playing the piano. But her singing voice, no. It's a no for me. I mean, I have perfect pitch hearing, which means that I don't hear things the way that everybody else hears things. And when I go to a concert and you like switching the keys and not hitting them notes like you do on a record, in my mind, that means that your album was vocally produced to where your errors were corrected. If you can't sound like you do in person at a concert, the way that you sound on your album when it comes out of the studio, that means that you're not that great of an artist, in my opinion. Now, there are several artists that are out, have been out currently and in the past that, you know, kind of sound like a bell thing. You're done. And I'm just not, I could name several names, but I won't do that because, you know, people are going to be mad at me. But I don't really care. Some of them are extremely famous, and some of them are just like, girl, what? Like, I've been to a lot of concerts in my lifetime because I love music, and some artists I will never pay to see again, and I can't even listen to their music anymore because they sound like trash. Now, I have seen India.Arie a few times in concert, and she sounds exactly like she does on her records, which is great. I have also seen Alicia Keys in concert. It wasn't good. But she was playing that piano though. Get it, girl. You played that piano. Yes. It was actually keyboards because, you know, she didn't have the piano with her. But that's fine. But it was like, no, never again. I wasted my money. I was very upset because she was crickling, crackling all over the place. And I did not appreciate that. As a fan of music and somebody that enjoyed her music once upon a time. And people say, you know, her voice ain't been right since she stole that woman's husband. Well, I mean, technically he was divorced. Technically. But you know, the relationship probably started before he was divorced. But you know, recently she's been nominated for all these Tony Awards for her Broadway musical. I might go see it because she wrote the songs, but she's not performing in it, so you know, it might be worth the money. Anywho's, acoustic soul songs at A minor. So Acoustic Soul, by far, is the superior album, in my opinion. India.Arie is somewhat of a controversial artist to some people because she says what she wants to say. She shares her opinion, and she's not pigeonholed or say, I'm gonna sit in this box, stand in this box because this is what you want me to be. I'm gonna do what I want to do because this is how I feel and this is my truth. Now, has she received the accolades that she probably should have over the years for her music? Definitely not. And if you go to like Apple Music, Spotify, whatever, they have these things for different artists where it says like, if you want to know this is this artist's best work, this is their best album, India.Arie does not have one listed on Apple Music at all. But Alicia Keys has 3. Make it make sense, man. That makes absolutely no sense. At least not to me. Because Acoustic Soul, which is her debut album, knocks it out of the park. Video, brown skin, beautiful, I Am Ready for Love. Seriously? But this album is not a necessary album for you to have to get to know this artist. But songs in A minor, As I Am, and I forget the third one, but it's another one for Alicia Keys. It doesn't matter. But those 3 are just like, oh, if you want to know Alicia Keys, then you should listen to these albums. Which, As I Am, that's the tour that I saw her on when I stopped listening to her because I was just like, girl, what? There are some songs on that album and I'm just like, okay, because Superwoman, I love that song. Because, I mean, we all are super women as black women. We have to be. But that's another discussion for another day. We'll get into it later, don't worry. So, the colorism comes into play in this part because of what the artists look like, who is backing them, and how they are put out into the world for being who they are as artists to influence the masses. Alicia Keys is more palatable. She just is. She's light. They gave her the braids, you know, so that's the black side, was the braids. Because she wore them braids for years. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, because they always looked good. But of her songs that did not come out on the radio, there may be 2 on the album that I listened to outside of that. India.Arie, Acoustic Soul, I can listen to it from start to finish with no skips. There's a difference. So, food for thought. Your skin color should not dictate your success. The skin color of these 2 artists in this comparison are extremely different. Light versus dark, which is where we have been forever since the enslavement. Light versus dark. There was a house Negro, there was a field Negro. The house Negroes were the light ones. Those were the ones that were trusted to cook the food, watch the kids, you know, breastfeed the children, all of those types of things. The dark ones, you got to be out in the sun, hot, doing the back breaking work. When you have, so I said all that to say, you know, hate it or not, Alicia Keys is giving house Negro energy. Songs at A minor, no black keys. She titled it, it's her album. That's the key she sings in. And most of the time it's off. Just saying. You know, so come back next week because we'll have more to talk about. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Elle Bee Show. Make sure you share, subscribe, and sound off. I hope you got stung. Who knew it could feel so good?